Okay, we're going to be going over factoring quadratics when a is not equal to 1. And there's a few methods. In these notes I'm going to cover the AC method, which is the same as the mama chart or X chart. So what you have to do is multiply the A times the C, and that's going to be 24 here. And then you have to find the factors of that add to be 11. So I'll do this, the mama, as best I know. So it needs to multiply to be 24 and add to be 11. So if you find the factors of 24, you have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and 5 doesn't, so I'm looking at those. Out of those, which ones add to be 11? I know they're both positive, so I'm going to use 3 and 8. Now, when you do this, you have to make sure these steps are all the way through. It's not like when it was equal to 1. You don't just put 3 and 8 in the parentheses. There's more work to it. Okay? The first term stays the same. The last term will stay the same. Okay? And then the middle term, the 11x, is going to split into these two numbers, 3x and 8x. That's what I did here, was I figured out what that did to split. And now I'm going to factor by grouping. So I group the first two and I group the second two. In each parentheses, I'm going to bring out the greatest common factor. Sorry, not 2, just x in this case. Nothing goes into 2 and 3, so I can't factor out any number with the x. The first parentheses, you should be able to factor out at least x. X will always be able to factor out in that first one. The second one, what goes into 8 and 12? Well, 2 does, but you want to look for the greatest, which is going to be 4. And what's left is 2x plus 3. In order to do this method, both of these parentheses should be the same. And your answer, the matching parentheses, is one of your binomials. What's on the outside forms the other binomial, x plus 4. And that's my answer. You can FOIL or distribute twice to check your answers. Okay, so for this one, you're going to do 12x squared minus 12x minus 9. Remember to always check for a greatest common factor, which here is going to be 3. And I'm left with 4x squared minus 4x minus 3. So in this one, I'm still going to be doing the AC method, but I'm going to organize it with what I call the X chart. I know it's what Mr. Bice has done in the past. If you had him, I don't know who else might do it, but what multiplies goes in the top, and that becomes negative 12. What adds, what it needs to add to be, goes on the bottom, and that's going to be negative 4. So because it multiplies to be a negative, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative, and their difference now has to be 4. So it's going to be 6 and 2, and because they need to combine to be negative 4, my larger number is going to be a negative, and that's going to be negative 6. So when I go to finish it, remember, you don't just put those numbers in parentheses. You need to have your first term and last term stay the same. So this goes here, this goes there, and the two middle terms are going to be the two numbers that you got, negative 6x, positive 2x. You have to remember to do the factor by grouping. The greatest common factor of 4 and 6 is 2. I can also factor out an x, and I'm left with 2x minus 3. And this second parentheses, because I can't factor anything out, I'm going to still write a 1 in this case. And I have 2x minus 3. Again, notice that these two parentheses match. So that's one of them. And my second parentheses comes from what's in the front, 2x plus 1. Don't forget, I factored out the 3 at the beginning, so let's bring that down. And that's my answer, the factored form. Okay, here's a joke. Knock, knock. Did you say who's there? Okay. Cash. No thanks. I'll have some peanuts if you have any, though.